Today on Mr. Media, I'll talk to actor Hayes MacArthur, who's guest starring on the new NBC sitcom Whitney tonight, February 8th at 8 p.m. Stick around. I know I have to ask him about Whitney, but that's only to get to the good stuff about my favorite sitcom ever, Worst Week. So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is a Mr. Media interview. You know, MrMedia.com, MRmedia.com. Stop by and check it out. There are more than 900 archived celebrity and pop culture interviews for your listening pleasure. Mr. Media is recorded live before a studio audience of diehards who believe that one day Kyle Bornheimer will be the king of all sitcoms in the new media capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. Now, I like to think we all have love affairs with TV shows that networks gave up on way too soon. For me, the list goes back to the 1960s with It's About Time and continues all the way to the last few seasons when I felt about the cancellations of Worst Week, Outsourced, and the show that replaced it, Perfect Couples. Those were some damn funny shows. And two of those last three starred the same pair of wonderful comedic actors, Kyle Bornheimer and Hayes MacArthur. On Worst Week, MacArthur played Bornheimer's perfect brother-in-law. Well, perfectly conniving, that is. And on Perfect Couples, they were the husbands in two of the three couples presented on the show, which was clever, innovative, and given up on way too soon. Damn you network programmers. Anyway, MacArthur never lacks for work. This week, he guest stars on an episode of NBC's Whitney, tonight, February 8th at 8 p.m. He has also appeared recently in episodes of ABC's Happy Endings and Suburgatory. Before I bring him on, here's some trivia. A former standout college quarterback, MacArthur was named for actress Helen Hayes. Even more important, he married actress Allie Larder in August 2009. Now that's important because in June of that year, she was a guest on Mr. Media. Hayes MacArthur, welcome to Mr. Media.
That was a great intro. I feel like I was in This Is Your Life. Well, I love the fact that you made the Kyle connection, too, because we have done two, albeit short-lived series together, and I share your fondness for them.
Criminally short. Criminally short.
Yeah, Kyle and I always laugh about that. We did a movie together, too, this year that's going to be out this fall, and we were laughing about how it's harder to cancel the movie.
I was going to ask you, Kyle Bornheimer, evil genius or cursed bastard? Can you discuss that for a minute?
I think I've called him both. He's so much fun. I first met him, we did a movie called She's Out of My League in Pittsburgh a couple years ago, and since then we've worked together, I think, like 4 times, and each time it hasn't been intentional, meaning we never entered the projects thinking we were going to be working with each other, and it's been so much fun.
Well, a lot of times we talk about chemistry between actors, and it's usually like a male actor and a female actor, but there's something funny that happens when you two are on screen together. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, Kyle's he's so fun when you're working with him. Each time you're doing whatever the crazy situation that we're in, he's just making me laugh. I think I've been a best man in his TV wedding twice, and he's been a best man in my TV wedding once.
Isn't that crazy? And these were, speaking for Worst Week and Perfect Couples, I have to assume that these shows were as much fun to work on as they were to watch. They just looked like you guys were having a ball.
Yeah, they really were. They were a lot of fun, and Worst Week had so many stunts in it too, that each time we shot one of those things, we have like a car crash or a fire. I remember one time Kyle and I were playing catch in the yard in the scene, and he tells me to go long, and I go long just as his father-in-law pulls in the driveway and hits me with his Cadillac. And that scene, we were just laughing the whole time we were doing it because I know at the end I'm going to get hit by this car.
That was great. That was great. I remember, I think it was in the last episode, wasn't it, where he somehow set the pool on fire?
Right.
I mean,
that's right. He trips,
sorry.
He spills the gasoline goes on top of the water, and then he, I think like a banana flambe or something falls into the pool, and the whole thing lights up.
You know, I have only purchased in my life 3 complete sets of TV shows. One was Time Tunnel, the other was Briscoe County, and the other one was Worst Week. I mean, I just think it is such a funny show.
You're a connoisseur. That's an eclectic group there too.
It is an eclectic group. But what are you going to do? All right. So look, before the NBC folks get mad at me, tell me about your appearance on Whitney.
Whitney, I'm playing the ex-husband of Roxanne, who's Whitney's best friend on the show, and he comes back into her life. He's kind of like a douchey character. He's one of those guys who wears a knit hat even when it's warm out, and he does slam poetry. And if you know Whitney, you know that she's not down with any of those things. So she takes a pretty hard stance against me coming back into her friend's life.
Now, because it's you, and because it's a character that's referred to a lot, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that if the show continues, there's an opportunity that you'll pop up again.
Yeah, I did a couple of episodes on it, and it was so fun. They, unlike Worst Week and Perfect Couples, we shoot this one with a live audience, and I think that it adds a really fun dimension to the show. And I mean, people are having a blast at those tapings.
Are you able to, were there any lessons that you could take from, like Worst Week and Perfect Couples? And I mean, if you ever wanted to or had the opportunity to sit with someone like Whitney Cummings and say to her, here's some things that I learned from things that went wrong that, maybe would be cautionary tales for you. Is there anything you've learned from this, or is it just beyond your control?
I think you're right. It's totally beyond. It's just one of those things that's beyond your control. There's so many factors that go into if someone's watching the show or not, in terms of when it's on and what the scheduling is and how it's marketed. And it's so crazy, and all we can do is just go and have fun. Whitney is obviously doing so well right now with Two Broke Girls and her own show picking up so much steam that I just hope it really continues for her because she's so great.
Now, Hayes, on Perfect Couples, your TV wife was Olivia Munn, and at home, I hope I'm right about this, your real life wife is Allie Larder. And now, this isn't really a question. I just wanted to give millions of jealous guys a chance to curse you right now.
Oh, you're cursing me. I thought you were going to give me like a over the phone high five.
Well, kind of the same thing, isn't it? Right now, I mean, you're doing okay there. And look, I gotta ask you, your IMDb listing has you in an upcoming movie called Jutopia, and I'm hoping that's not an angry Lars Van Trier movie.
No, it's quite the opposite. It's a movie that's based on a play of the same name called Jutopia, and it's about a guy who uses his best friend is Jewish, and he falls in love with a Jewish girl, and so he pretends to be Jewish in order to impress her family and her.
Could have worked for Lars Van Trier too, though. Okay, we just so we. Listen.
It would have been a different version. This is a comedy.
Yeah, I don't see him doing comedy. Folks, you can see actor Hayes MacArthur guest star tonight, Wednesday, February 8th at 8 p.m. on Whitney with Whitney Cummings. Hayes, can people find you? Are you a social media guy? Twitter, Facebook? Do you have a website? Any of that stuff?
I don't have none of that stuff. It's not something I'm doing. I'll get around to it.
All right. Well, we'll look for that then. Hayes, thank you so much for joining us on Mr. Media today, and tell Allie hello for us.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. For more original interviews, surf over to our main website, mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. If you've enjoyed today's show, subscribe for free to Mr. Media via email, RSS, or iTunes, and you'll never miss a show. Another good idea? Download our new free Mr. Media mobile app in the Android market. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many parts of the internet. Show your support of Mr. Media by supporting our sponsors, including Audible. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/radio. Again, that's audibletrial.com/radio for your free audiobook. We're also supported by thepartyauthority.us. Call DJ Ira for all your party entertainment needs nationwide at 1-800-DIAL-DJs, or visit their website, thepartyauthority.us. If you've got an idea for a guest, a comment on today's show, or would like to advertise on Mr. Media Radio, email me directly at bob@mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. You can also call our 24-hour listener line at 1-727-498-4711. Some messages may be used in an upcoming show, and unless you live next door to Mr. Media, there may be a toll charge. You can also follow Mr. Media on Facebook, Twitter, or our new YouTube and Vimeo video channels. Thanks so much for joining us today. I always appreciate you sharing a piece of your day with Mr. Media. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin.com Brown from the Emmy Award-winning 30 Rock, and you know what? I wish I had 30 rocks to throw at Mr. Media's ass. Yeah!
Hey everybody, this is Bob Andelman from Mr. Media. First of all, I want to thank you for years of support listening to this show. We're starting our 6th year. It's hard to believe our 6th year as 2012 starts, and heading towards our 1,000th online podcast, audio and video. It's pretty amazing, frankly. I remember starting it several years ago thinking this will never last. And podcasts, that's as stupid a word as blogging. But here we are, starting our 6th year and heading up to 1,000 interviews. And I want to thank everybody for listening and supporting the show. I also want to tell you that one of the things that's been very helpful for this show is Stitcher Radio. Yes, this is sort of a commercial. Now, there are millions of smartphone apps in the world, but I only use one several times a day, Stitcher Radio. I build my own radio station to listen to broadcast and online shows when I want and in the order I want. CNN News Update, Onion Radio News, WTF with Mark Maron, MSNBC's Morning Joe, Studio 60, the TechCrunch headlines, and of course, Mr. Media. It's free. It works on iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, Palm Pre, and much more. And you can get it for free for yourself. Try it out. I guarantee you're going to love it. Stitcher.com/MRmedia. That's Stitcher.com/Mr. Media. You're going to love it. And thanks again for supporting the show.